Yo, this guy's freaking killed it, bro. You have to stay tuned, dude. Simulation theory, the mark of the beast, 666, all this free what Project Phoenix, whatever the freak is called. Guys, let them know where they can find you one more time.
Yeah, so you can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, and also on audio platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Spreaker. While you're there, drop a follow or review. We deeply appreciate it. Everything's under the Biblical Hitman. And again, you'll see a guy with tattoos on his face.
Taylor,
It
the most
looks,
aggressive dude out of all of them.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We call him the Slayer. He's the Slayer. But yeah, all those places you can consume content, man. We're there, and we're working hard. We're trying to give people a good product and entertainment, and we'd appreciate it for a little follow and a share. So thanks, man.
Stay tuned to Jesse, Taylor, and Stefan from the Biblical Hitman. Guys, the episode is amazing. Stay tuned. Here we go.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoi radio, set up the mood. Paranoi radio, set up the mood. Paranoi radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Okay, we're going live.
Let's make deposits into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back to Paranoi Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget that the most important thing that you could do for the show is word of mouth. Check us out at ParanoiRadio.com. Check out the affiliations with Flavors of the Forest, Cryptid Warfare Operations, and Alec Christine. Keep your kids healthy by staying parasitic free and take those demons out. Make sure you check us out and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an amazing episode lined up for all of you guys. And I say that in every single episode, but today is extremely important and really, really passionate. It's actually a full house. Let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Give a warm welcome to my next special guest. We got Jesse and Taylor and Stefan from the Biblical Hitman.
Yeah,
baby.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that was impressive, brother.
Oh,
wow.
yeah, dude.
What an opening. Holy
yeah.
moly.
You can't beat that, bro.
Yeah, that was
After
awesome, man.
400 episodes of doing this shit, it's just
Right? Exactly, man.
No, dude, that energy is there, brother. I love it.
Thank you,
Good
bro.
stuff.
Stefan. All right, bro. You gave me the beautiful opportunity to be on your freaking show. We did it on YouTube. We kicked ass. I think I couldn't deliver good enough, but it was pretty good, bro. I mean, I have you guys featured on the .com and shit. Taylor, you're an amazing freaking person. I've seen you guys
Thank you,
live
bro.
kicking ass with Doc Brown. Massive shout outs to Doc Brown from the Prometheus Lens podcast. And Jess, I just got to meet you. And like I said, and I'm gonna say it on the air now, I think you bring my energy on the Biblical Hitman. It's like it's needed. You gotta have like the little spice. And it's
I
over
don't.
there.
I'm not there yet, but maybe one day, Treble. You, bro, you're on a different level, bro. I
Gotta get
appreciate
on
the
his level, bro.
compliment.
Come on now.
Yeah, I'll try it. I'm trying.
So
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna try not to talk over you guys today. Before anything, let the people know what you're about. What are your side projects? What's Biblical Hitman about? Where can they find you? Let's go.
Yeah, man. So you could find us primarily on YouTube and audio platforms. You could check us out on Instagram. You could check us out on X, Facebook, pretty much anywhere you can kind of consume content. Everything is the Biblical Hitman, pretty much. Just look for, an emblem with a guy with tattoos on his face and like cryptids in the background with UFOs.
Good
And
marketing.
that's where, you'll find us there. And really our show, we get into a lot of the supernatural aspect of, biblical stories and scriptures, and we dive deep into the scriptures, but we also cover things as far as current events and agendas that are out there in the world, and we obviously can see that today, especially being a conspiracy theorist for 15, almost 16 years now. It seems to be
Stop
a
bragging.
lot of truth to those things, but really we kind of tie things in together in a concept of where conspiracies will lead you to the Bible will lead you to conspiracies. So all that kind of
1000%.
stuff, man. Yep. And really,
You know
our show's nothing without the three of us. We got Jesse, we got Taylor here, and those guys are awesome guys, man.
There's a lot to watch. There's a lot going on. It's like a jam-packed anime show, bro. It's just too much, all the little graphics and shit. The dude
Hey, we
with
got the
tattoos and
Naruto, bro.
stuff. Naruto. Around the table, real quick, Jess. Again, we didn't get a little bit about you on the last show. I didn't get to meet you, bro. What's up with you, bro? What's going on?
Great to meet you, man. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having us on. I watched the first one. I watched you come on our show. I wasn't able to be there, and I loved it. You killed it. It was great. My name's Jesse. I'm a residential plumber in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that's what I've been doing for almost the last 10 years now. And I have 2 kids and a wife, happily married. Not really fully married yet, I guess legally, but we love each other that way. So don't pick on me or judge me. I'm just trying to be honest, okay? But yeah, Stevie basically pushed me to come on this show. I was doing MMA content before I was doing this. And I still love MMA. I still love fighting and stuff like that. And I still watch it and keep up with it. And I still kind of wanted to do it. And I'm just like, nah, I think God's pulling me towards this way. And I didn't believe it at first. But now I'm like, I'm kind of getting on fire right now for Jesus Christ. Like, for real, for real.
Oh,
So
that's massive, bro. Congratulations on that. Taylor, any updates with you, bro? What's popping?
Broski, I'm just I'm a family man. I'll be working a lot, but dude, after the Bohemian Fest we went to, man, like, bro, I've been on the podcast grind, my guy.
Oh yeah,
I'm just going ham. We're about it, man. I just like being here. I like being, part of the podcast. It's a movement, bro. It's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like a normal podcast. Though. It's literally, we're building a community of people who are like-minded, who love God, and then even the people who are not into God, we're just like, yo, if you look at it from this lens of the Bible, this is how it is, bro.
Well, it's more like
we grab them by
like
the
we
head.
talk about,
Right.
yeah, it's like we talk about the same things y'all talk about.
Look at
Let's
it.
eat. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah,
really
man.
too, our guess is it's a diverse,
Yeah.
it's diverse, and we like to get anyone on and everyone on.
Oh, bro, you
And-
had me on. What more diverse do you need?
We got
the
DEI
beaner-
in here.
You
We
got
got
the
the whole
beaner with the
deal.
accent talking about owls and shit, bro.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And having you on, man, it was awesome. You killed it, man. You generated a lot
Great.
of awesome content for us. And we collabed, and it's great too. And I think that's a really big thing, a part of our community and content creators. It's really awesome to have each other on each other's show, because we really hear so much from the venue, and we hear so much across the spectrum that we know like a little about a lot. And when we get each other on, it really just kind of spikes conversation. The conversations just end up blowing up because we make little connections and conclusions together, and it's just a lot of fun, man.
I'm sure you guys done this 100 times, and I'm happy that you guys are here. I want to thank you again, and I want to make sure that everybody that's watching on YouTube, guys, like, share, and subscribe. I don't usually do that. I'm not used to the like, subscribe, and share, all that stuff
I know,
because YouTube freaking sucks. But either way, guys, it
Yeah,
takes 5 seconds. Stop watching ads on TikTok. Go to the search bar and check us out on YouTube.
Boom.
And do it today, guys. Like, subscribe, and all the stuff is going to be in the description of this show. Make sure you check out Biblical Hitman. They're freaking huge. They're rubbing elbows with the right people. They're freaking creating content. They're amazing folks. Make sure you check them out. Now, bro, Mark of the Beast. Go around the table. Let's fucking go.
Oh,
Yeah, it's funny. It's been something that, I mean, hasn't really been talk of the trade really for a little bit. But now, since we've kind of seen the world emerging with artificial intelligence, and things are growing in that infrastructure, and just things like Palantir and things like other softwares that are out there that are military contracted,
Stargate.
and Stargate, right? So we're seeing all these things kind of start to develop, but what really brought this kind of topic back up for me was all of these things. And I didn't really get into it. I didn't talk about it much. When I did get into it, it was like 2019, 2020 era, right? There was obviously something going around that was kind of imitating, or a precursor to that kind of same concept, that really you had to kind of take something to function and be a part of society and not be looked or discriminated upon. In
There's
the
got to be a
workplace,
2.0. Yeah.
yeah, and it was in the workplace, and it was everywhere, and it even got to the dramatic level of like your families, and maybe families had different political views and all that, but it was something that stirred the pot with a lot of things. But where we're at today, it just made me start digging, and I kind of have this concept of what it may be, but it's wild. I think that it could happen in our lifetime. or it'll be a typology in some sort of way for the actual market.
Pretty extreme typology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I tend to think it's gonna be something like a tattoo. Like they were talking about this, like, luciferase type of thing and all this other, technology we have. It would almost make sense. It's gonna be like a CRISPR upgrade, and they're gonna like assimilate it to your body. It's like almost a cybernetic type thing, like a cyborg upgrade type thing. I think they're gonna put it out as that. And you got to recognize, like, how is it going to be? How are people going to love to take this? They're not going to be like, yeah, just let me sign up to take the mark of the beast real quick. Like, they're going to be like, oh, snap, it's an upgrade. It'll know if I have cancer or some illness, and it'll, prescribe me whatever drugs I need to get it fixed. And, I think it's going to be like introduced as a medical way to help, or as an upgrade for cybernetic.
You got RFK talking about wearables. Medical wearables.
Right.
You got
right.
That was
I saw
sketchy.
an article.
That was so sketchy.
I saw an article earlier about needing a real ID, not just the real ID, needing this other type of real ID
Oh,
by
yeah.
2028.
Fucking other one?
I know,
What?
bro.
Or you
I
will
have,
be
like, an ID for
excluded.
my ID, bro.
You will be excluded from society. And I'm like, I'm excluded, buddy.
Right. Well, let me just say this too, with the RFK mentioning, wearables coming in 4 years, and it's all health related. It all circles around to help you be healthy and to make sure. All it really is doing is retrieving body activity data from you, the user, and it's reporting back to a system. Well,
Yeah, no thanks.
getting
Like
into
DMI?
that, like getting into that conversation, I remember in the times of, 2021, 2022, I was, and I worked the front lines of, what was going on in the world. At that time, I was on the front run ambulance, and I was running medical calls, and really everything was just tenfold in call volume and all of that for like 3 years. And I was on the busiest truck in the city, but
That OT though.
yeah, no doubt. No, it paid off for sure.
Yeah.
What's funny though is like I did some digging, and obviously from 2020 to like 2022, the big talk of the town was the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, what it was, all the books he wrote, right, and all this kind of stuff. He was really popular on social media and in the conspiracy theorist realm. People were talking about him and everything like that. But I remember digging into a document that came out in February 2022, and it's called Advanced Digital Agency: The Power of Data Intermediaries. And what this whole 60-something page document kind of gets into is it talks about a platform that they want to build and use to where something will help guide and make decisions. And at the end of the day, what do we see in the world? At the government level, they don't really like that we're able to make decisions. The government wants to make decisions for you. So there's like a compliance role that kind of goes in with all this. But this was before AI or anything was, a hot topic or, spiraling across the internet, where people were understanding that, wow, we actually have artificial intelligence. But this came out a little bit before that. And when you get to like in the middle section, it starts to get into a digital ID system, and it talks about what the digital ID system will consist of and really how dynamic it will be in society. And it has things involved as like healthcare, telecommunications, e-government, which is like how you would vote, social platforms, which is what we use, pretty much applications all day, every day, devices, people, things, phone logs. So it's like everything that our phone does right now technically will operate the same way as a digital ID. But then I was like, all right, what is this digital ID? I mean, if I remember correctly, when I was watching one of the World Economic Forum, they had some sort of event going on in Geneva. I think this was like 2022 around this time.
Event 201 or whatever.
Yeah. No, that was what came out before the 2019-2020 incident. But what I'm saying is there were people up there. There was a Motorola CEO that was up there, and he was talking about the phones will be integrated into our bodies by 2030. And I'm like, what? So then I'm like, okay. And this was all around the same time I'm reading this document, but it goes over the evolutions of the digital ID and how it's going to change over time. And it says right now it's consisted of our mobile devices, our browsers, and all this kind of stuff, which we
Right.
use every day. And it says the evolution from that will be more integrated into like wearables and also things that are in your
Right.
home. And then the future from that will be data intermediaries embedded in body. And so I was like, okay, so they're talking about putting stuff in your body at a technological level. So then I started kind of digging, and then I came across a patent, right? A patent called Microsoft, the Microsoft patent 060606. It was created in September 2019 by a few people, but this patent
Was that MIT that created that patent?
No, it's Microsoft. Microsoft created it. MIT
Okay,
was
that's
the
right.
ones that they were the ones that actually did
Made
the
it.
first quantum dot tattoo
Okay, that's right.
trial and all this kind of
Yep.
just right, which had medical records on it at first, but this gets even deeper. The patent 060606, it's basically a sensor that's integrated with a user. We're the user, and it doesn't elaborate on how it is in the body, if it's integrated into the body. It just says sensor, right? So for what you want to take, let's just say a wearable for right now, right? And so the wearable, which will most likely have quantum technology built into it, again, 2023, Google created the first superconductor and the first quantum computing chip. So I do think we're in the early stages of a lot of this stuff, but we can kind of point out and go, hey, this is where it's going to be and where it's going to lead to. When quantum computing takes control, I think technology is really going to just blow up way faster than
Right.
we even can imagine. And so we have this sensor, and it says it's to read body activity data. It'll pick up your heart rate, your brain waves, so on and so forth. I mean, pretty much every single thing of your personal information. Let's just say that. So then I started doing more studying of like what sensors in the body can pick up body activity data, and what I was led right. So what I was led to was quantum dot technology, and quantum dot technology, which it's used a lot in the field right now with animals and sheep and rats and things like that. They're still testing it because there is a toxic level to it. But what this is, it's a nanoparticle technology, and it when it's exposed to blue light or UV light, it gives off colors, and it's a transmitter. Pretty much, it'll send a visual signal where they're also talking about technology in that same realm being compatible with our phones right now. So the question is really, do I have a phone right now for my personal needs, my business, and everything to help me in everyday life? Or is my phone actually here for something sinister coming into the future?
Right.
Yeah.
It's originally designed for something else.
Right, because getting into like that quantum dot technology, right? So it's embedded in the body. It's a semiconductor, right? So it's able to hold charge, and it's able, quantum dot technology, and especially graphene quantum dot technology, it is able to pick up body activity data, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your brainwave activity, all this kind of stuff. And so it's very fascinating, all of this with the quantum dot tech. And I'll kind of shut up from here, but that's kind of what I've been led to a little bit. And really, who's behind the quantum dot stuff? Who's funding it? Bill Gates. You've got a lot of big names and a lot of entrepreneurs who are investing in a lot of stuff. It's like very similar to Peter Thiel, who invests in PayPal, he invests in Facebook, he invests in Palantir, and it's like, well, look at what all three of those things are created for and where they're at now. And will the end goal with this technology and this whole kind of idea with quantum, will it lead to a ledger? Will it lead to some sort of connection to a wallet? And if I'm looking at the patent correctly, 060606, it talks about that if your body activity data, when it's rehashed into information and then it's judged by the intermediary, it will reward you cryptocurrency. So if you comply if you do this, you do that, you will make money. Now, where do we hear that from? We hear Elon Musk talking about a universal income, and especially that all the GDP in the world, pretty much,
Credit
or
score.
at least half of it, will be going through X and as a platform at some point in time in history coming. So it's all interesting, man. So I'll shut up.
Yo, you know what? I want to bounce off that. I want
Dude,
to bounce off that for
very
a
well
second.
said. Very well
That's
said, Steve.
like you're saying with the quantum stuff too. I've noticed, and with the UV lights I've noticed a lot of purple UV lights set up all over too, especially here in Florida. But what if they already got it in people's systems, that nano graphene stuff through the jibby jab? People have already taken that, and once they go through these spots and it activates them and they can read them at all times. Also with the 5G, I believe that they can send a certain signal and then it hits whoever's been jabbed and then it just activates whatever they need to activate.
I don't really personally think that, and maybe there's components of the medicine that was given that haven't been disclosed to us yet. I know that Moderna and Pfizer, they have deals to where like records can't be released till 70 years, which if you think about that, that's a generation, and the people held responsible would be dead anyway. So it really doesn't matter, but it's crazy, man. And
well, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're good. I wanted to make one more connection because there's another patent out there that I found as well. And it kind of gets into maybe what these things may actually be meant for. And it says using quantum dots for identification, authentication, and tracking of objects. And so it's pretty diverse in general, that title. But when you get down into it, it's talking about pretty much everything. And what I mean by everything, it's all the goods, it's everything that people consume, and it's the consumers. This is where you get like the concept of buying, selling, because it's between a consumer and the good, and then the person on the other side of that deal. But what's crazy enough is that, right, what were we talking about with the World Economic Forum and digital intermediaries and that agency? It was talking about a digital ID system. And so what's this patent talk about? It talks about how to identify things. It talks about how to authenticate and track objects. So when I'm thinking of this, I think of Klaus Schwab, who probably is on New Schwabenland or something right now in Antarctica talking to entities. He's just going ham probably. But everything's going to be identified. Everything is going to have a barcode system on it, and at some time. And I think what's going to push that is what Klaus Schwab also talks about. He talks about cyber polygon, which this has not been talked about for a long time. And it's a scary thing because it was talked about just like what happened in 2019 and 2020 in the same event of in that, what was it, event 201, which was held in September or whatever 2019, just before things were going. But it was a scenario. It was a scenario conference where people were talking about this scenario that would happen. And so Cyber Polygon will consist of a scenario of hacking and theft on identity. And so if you can imagine this, bro, imagine your bank gets hit, someone takes all your money because they have your identity, all this kind of stuff. There's going to be something in the world and in the whole entire global civilization where if this does happen globally, they're going to have to initiate some sort of ID system. People and people will want it because they just lost $50,000 in their bank account.
Right. You are fully on talking about putting us in the digital realm.
Right.
And I quite just to amplify what you're saying, I agree to a certain degree where you're saying where the mark of the beast may be the digital ID that is going to be implemented around the world to every single person. I think it's the digital currency. Do you know what part of your brain you use to think about money? Your prefrontal cortex, your forehead. It's already on your forehead. Do you know what's the percentage of people that use the right hand?
Majority.
90% of the
Yeah.
world.
I'm
uses the
left-handed,
right
baby
hand.
boy. Let's
Do you
go.
know?
Yeah.
Do you know what you have? Oh, you're left-handed, baby. So is my two daughters. It's freaking weird.
That's awesome.
So you already chipped yourself, and then you chip your kids with it, and you already have Stockholm
Wow.
syndrome. So you're not only happy with being enslaved, now you're begging to be enslaved.
Yeah.
See what I'm talking about, right? So I'm thinking, how many other countries in the world coincidentally are against the United States, or the United States and the entire world want to go war with them? You have North Korea, Iran, China, maybe
Pretty much
Russia,
every one of them. Yeah.
right? But what
Right.
what is it about them that they all share? They're not connected to a Federal Reserve banking system.
Yeah. Central.
But
Reserve,
once the entire world is in that system, now you've got the mark of the beast, which each person has to have in order to translate, bring in, sell, collect, consume, eat, shit, breathe, water, drink, all that shit. Because
Right.
everybody's under that same mark. So you're there. I just think it's bigger. I think it might just be digital currency.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and what you said about stealing our identities, bro. Kent State, and I just learned this last night. Kent State has been working, and is known to be working for decades now on liquid crystal and camo technology for
Oh,
military
yeah.
applications.
Yeah. Heard about this.
Liquid crystal, bro. What did I tell you that the Olmecs did to use to tap into the organic
Yeah.
algorithm of the earth? Liquid obsidian. Shut
Liquid.
the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Obsidian. Exactly. bro.
Liquid
Fuck
obsidian. Wow.
It's like
Bro.
it has memory. It can hold all sorts of stuff, dude. Like you were saying on that, it holds memory. It holds information.
That's the black goo
They-
stuff.
Yeah, you
Black
can
goo
pretty
stuff.
much like
Wow.
yeah. This is dark goo. I believe is antimatter, and even demons
And-
use antimatter, bro.
And you're talking about you. The reason I mentioned liquid crystal is because trying to steal our identity, trying to replicate our identity. Wait, didn't I tell you that they were obsessed with hacking our technology, our body, not only mining us for data like they already have been using, but to put us into the matrix?
Yeah, they
Does that
want
make
us
sense?
upload
Put us
to
into
the
the
machine.
digital realm.
Yeah,
Plug
want
in.
our
Something I
soul
didn't.
in there.
Something I didn't say this to you guys on your show. Maybe I did. I think I said it on broadcasting. Do you know who else uses blood to open up salvation in a different realm? Do you know who else used it as a sacrifice? And you know who else uses biometrics to take you to salvation? Jesus Christ.
Dang, that makes sense.
Didn't
He's
he
the ol-
didn't he spill his blood
Yeah.
to open up the portal so that your sins
Damn.
can be saved and then you can transfer into a new realm? Dude, I'm
Damn.
telling
The
you, it's the
ultimate
same logic.
sacrifice,
The ultimate
yeah.
sacrifice with the ultimate blood sacrifice. And
Yep.
you know what I'm talking about, right? So what are they trying to do here today? The techno giants, right?
Yeah. They're trying to
Dangerous,
copy what
man.
he's done. They always copy what Jesus does, man. It's so funny, man.
And the
They
mark
always
of the
do.
beast is the introduction, the complete opposite, polar opposite of that shit, bro. It's fucking wild.
I know.
It
So
is.
they
The
even got
system-
the unholy trinity and everything, bro. Like they
Going back to Stevie's theory that he's been cooking up. He's cooking something up, man. He's got a big pot and he's just stirring it right now.
Bring me the
'Cause-
other recipe.
right now.
Open the book to chapter 69.
Yeah. He literally
This giant Bible from the 1800s.
going back to Palantir and all that. It's like putting the puzzle together of this mark of the beast. It's like Palantir is the operating system that's collecting the data. Stargate is the cloud, and then
Skynet.
then
Yeah.
then you got
what's
Starlink.
the third part of that whole trinity of AI that's being built? Like you said, you've got Stargate, you've got Palantir, and then you have XAI, which is being developed by Elon Musk in Memphis, right? And with the whole symbology with Memphis and the meaning,
The
really
new
is-
god in Memphis. Yeah.
Well, but Memphis, it was one of the capital. I think it was Egypt or at some point. But basically, they worshipped the Egyptian god Ptah, and
Yo.
Ptah is the god of all the other gods. It's the one that kind of created all the other ones, the dominant one, which is interesting because if you think about it, really, we're broken down into a trifecta as well, right? We have a body, we have a spirit, we have a mind. So we have our spirit lives forever, our body is what houses it, and then we have a consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So there's it takes three to really run and to be
Oh, yeah.
an entity, a piece of existence in this in this fabric of reality, right? So I think the same thing with artificial intelligence, and really I think kind of like what it's going to get to is where we're raising it right now, we're nurturing it, we're feeding it milk, and like any other child, right? They grow up, they change their diet, they start eating normal food, and then all of a sudden, as a parent, like they're bigger than you, they're taller than you, and then they're 20 years old and they leave the home, and you're like, I have no control over their life anymore. Maybe it'll get that way with artificial intelligence, where it grows up, it has a perspective of you, and it goes, I don't want to live here anymore. And then now we've got something circulating through all of the Internet of Things that is
It's food
Ultron.
is your data.
He
You know what I mean?
he made us in their image, and we made AI in ours.
Jeez Louise, bro.
Yeah. So, another picture, and it's funny you said that because it made me think of the World Economic Forum documents where they have a picture of one thing in there, and it's a digital hand touching a human hand, and it's like it's like a eerie, what is it, Leonardo da Vinci kind of like weird. You're like, oh, dude, what are they saying right now, man? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Your
And
soul
then-
needs to get sucked in the machine, man.
And then like the next page you scroll and there's just like a digital chain link, and I'm like, what are they? Am I going to be a slave?
Yeah.
Chained?
You know
Everything's
what's
on the
funny,
blockchain?
bro? It's I love that
Beginning to
because
believe.
my boy Flash from Flash_News1, shout out to my boy Flash. He's the political element of the show. He says all the time, he goes, time doesn't repeat itself, but it does echo.
Dang.
Look at that, man. And you know
Dang.
what? This is a perfect scenario of that shit, bro. If you think about it, about that, bro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's heavy. I like that. That's a good quote.
Yeah, that's like, dude, it's so funny because like you can literally look at all the elites doing their evil stuff, and everything they're doing is just a mirror image of what God's doing, but in a perverted or backwards way, upside down, turned around.
Duality.
Yeah, duality. That's their thing, black, white, that's, bro, whatever God does up here, they're going to do over there, That's where they get their as above, so below thing, too. They're trying to, it's so wild, bro. Once you go down the rabbit hole of this stuff, you just realize, dude, he's literally the devil's just a copycat, bro. And, God had his ultimate.
He's from China.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
That's funny you say that because the great dragon is represented as China, bro.
The great dragon, the last
bro.
Airbender.
Yeah, bro. Why do you
Yeah.
think all that dragon stuff and mythology is over in China, bro? So prevalent, prevalent. That's
Right.
because they know all the old gods and all the old, fallen angels, bro. Very good. Like I'm pretty sure China is very in tune with all the the fallen ones.
Well, when you look at, and I've done this research where I looked up what's the percentage of, what is it, Taoism, right? That they worship there. And I was like, well, how much of the government, parliament, or whatever, the CCP, what are they worshiping? And 48% of them are Taoists. So they believe in entities. They believe in these principalities for knowledge and for, prediction. Like
There's literally a god for everything that they have, dude. Wisdom, knowledge, all this other stuff. If you're, there's a depression god, there's a happy god, there's every little thing. Like if you see a rock, there's a god of the rock.
It's there's a depression, anxiety demon, a demon for perversion, demon for sex, and it's the same thing, bro. It's just a thousand different faces, hive mind mentality, a thousand different ways to keep you docile and also controlled and controlling your habits. You said something about the trilogy, and I want to bring that in. Maybe it could spark up more thought-provoking conversations, guys. So I had this theory. I brought this up maybe I think on season 2 way back in the day, and talked about the trilogies of trilogies. Kent Hovind said this once. He said you have the trilogy, you have the first trilogy, we have space, time, and matter. You have liquid, solid, and gas, right? And then you have time, which is past, present, future, and then you have space, which is the 3 dimensions. You have height, length, and width, right? No, height, length, and depth, I believe. So you have the trilogy of the trilogies, and then all of that premise that makes our 3-dimension life, where we are realm, where we exist and coexist, right? And yet our brains cannot fathom different light spectrums. For example, we can see colors, but there's other colors in the spectrum that we are not fathomable to see, that's telling me that my eye cannot perceive that light or translate into my brain to tell me what else exists there.
Facts.
So what is the key word here? What's the key word here? Light, speed of light. What's something that breaks into a million different pieces once you transfer it into diamond? Light. What is everything that consumes? What consumes? What is it that consumes everything and belongs in everything? Light. So it's outside, it's inside, it's everywhere. It controls every single thing. Light, the speed of light, something that humanity has inside but cannot bend nor see in different spectrums. Why do you think night vision is in green? Because we see more shades of green than any other color in the spectrum. Yeah, but we can't see other phantoms of light, like, for example, dogs, cats, animals, and different things. So I'm thinking, light. So light's the key. We'll never be able to travel light. Light, speed of light. So I'm like, what the heck, bro? I was trying to break this down. I'm like, what are you telling me, God? God is light, right? Cool. All right. Electricity, energy. It cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Hot to cold. You got different things, right? I'm like, okay, what the heck? So the point of that was I kind of lost the train of thought, but I'm like, holy crap. What is the speed of light? What travels in the speed of light? That's our marker. Our simulation, even God creating us and allowing us to walk on this earth and live in free will, it's technically a simulation. So I'm looking at it like, holy crap, I'm simulating my life out here trying to get to the next lighthood, become light, closer to God, the best way I can.
Right.
You know whose name is light as well? Lucifer. Satan. And I'm like,
he is that false light.
The false light.
The angel, he comes as an angel in disguise, like a false angel. Like, he can shapeshift to whatever he wants. So yeah, it's funny you brought this up because Freemasons believe that, in order to achieve godhood, you must grow towards that Lucifer's light. Basically, they say Lucifer, the light bearer, and bro, that's how they reach godhood, and they have to like level up. But it's a false light, dude. He's always trying to copy God, man. And it's just like, bro, God is light, yes. But then that's like the devil wants to copy him and try to be like, come as an angel of light, bro. So there's two sides, like duality, like you said, bro. It's so crazy.
You have so much interest and so much research on light. You have red light, bro. You have blue light, bro. I think blue light makes you gay. Not gonna lie. I think being in front of your screen that long, it makes you gay. If light from the sun gives you, if light from the sun gives you vitamin D, what makes you think that blue light won't make you gay? It changes your hormones. It's gonna.
Why are you gay?
Why are you
Why are you gay?
Have you seen red light therapy? How everybody's using red light therapy
I've used that
right?
for my back, dude. Bro, that's crazy. Yeah.
Bro, so light, bro. There's the key right there, man. Something about manipulating light in this simulation or manipulating light in the next round.
You know what? I wanted to bring
well, what's crazy too is like just kind of bringing in the whole quantum stuff again. Well, a lot of how the signals are transmitted and identified and transcribed, it's because of light. It's because of the spectrum that, quantum technology, depending on the size and nanometers of the particles, they give off a different piece of light. And when you actually line up all of them, you line them all up on the table, you fill them up with vials, you expose them to UV light, and depending on the size from 2 to 10 nanometers, they're going to change in color. And it's honestly going to give off the colors of a rainbow. And
we're onto something. The
colors of the rainbow are all of the colors that make up everything else, every other color. And so anything can be communicated really at that point if the language is light. So it's interesting.
Very interesting.
Hey, you thought-provoking conversation? There you go. Because it is wild. And who knows why they chose to have something at a technological level to display the lights of the rainbow, because as a conspiracy theorist, I've known about the Denver airport for 12 years, 13 years. And looking at the Denver airport model now, the imagery on the paintings and the murals, there's always a rainbow there. There's always a rainbow. And the rainbow is something that comes in after the dystopian period, where you have like this cataclysmic period where it's nothing but chaos and just stress to live, right? And then out of that, what emerges like a phoenix out of the ashes is this rainbow. There's one in there that is a plant with the rainbow colors on it. And then there's one where it's like this kind of Nazi-looking figure in green coloring, military
gas
stuff.
mask.
And he's got a scimitar sword, which that scimitar sword is also symbolic on the Abraham Accords coin. I don't know what to make of that. But the scimitar sword is coming, from chaos and heading outward, and on its tail end, like dragging like a comet's tail, is the rainbow. And so, and I don't know what to think of that. I don't know why everyone in the everyone in the United Nations, especially in like 2020 era, when the Sustainable Development Goals was like a hot topic and was being pushed upon all of the 197 countries in the entire world, a part of the United Nations, or 193. But everyone was wearing a rainbow colored SDG badge. Yep. And then when you look at the SDGs, literally it's it's the colors in the rainbow, and they are each a category to build an infrastructure to sustain civilization. Who knows, man? Wild stuff.
What does Bigfoot have that we don't? He could travel through light.
Portals.
He just bends light and portal, bam, he's getting out. You know what I'm saying? All the cryptids, you have demonics, you have all the elves, you got all this stuff that we've talked about before. Yep. And guys, we're towards the last little stretch of the show here. Great conversation, guys. You know what? This is the stuff I live for. It doesn't have to have an agenda. Nice. I want to go around the table here and a quick little 2-3 minute rant. Everybody, guys, we have 10 more minutes in the freaking making here, bro. What was your first freaking red pill? Stephanie.
So my first red pill, man, I would have to say was 9/11. Just digging into 9/11, but it's a funny story because this actually really happened to me. So I'm not joking about this or like trying to get any attention or anything. This really did happen to me. But I'm in my dorm room doing research on 9/11. I always kind of knew something was kind of fishy about the whole thing, and I started learning a lot more. And again, like I'm not the kind of person that just is like naive and gullible. So I'm not just going to listen to someone and take it as fact, but yet I went and cross-referenced the research, and really I started finding a lot of interesting things. I'm in my dorm room, and I have to go to the bathroom. I have an old MacBook from like early 2000s, and I'm on the website and I'm doing my thing, and I got maybe 10 tabs open and I'm doing research. I go to the bathroom, right? So I'm in a common dorm room where there's 4 dorm rooms, but there's one bathroom that's in a common area, right in the living space. I go to the bathroom, I come back to my computer, and all my tabs are shut off. My browser is closed, and there's a backdrop of Obama. Again, this was like the time he was in office. Of Obama pointing at me, and it was like an Uncle Sam saying, where it was like, "I'm looking at you. I know, I can't remember 100% what it said, but it was like pointing at me, and it's like, I see you," and I'm like, oh my goodness. No one was in. Again, I didn't have a roommate. All this kind of stuff. No one just went into my room and did something like that. And then what's so funny, just a few years later, Snowden came out, all this kind of stuff started dropping about the NSA, and people honestly, looking and being able to log into your information and watch what you're doing online. So, but that's what set me off, man. That's what kind of was like, oh wow, there's something to all this. And really, I just dove in hardcore, jump in.
Taylor, hit it in.
Dude, okay, so it was way back in 2012, and honestly,
2012 was nasty too. 2012 was a nasty year, bro.
Yeah. Bro,
so much programming.
So much stuff going on. I could get into it, but basically for me, it's kind of like 9/11 too. I was watching a lot of footage of what was going on with 9/11, but also I remember when like Bush was speaking about stuff, and I saw, no lie, on live television, his eyes had slits in it, bro, like reptilians.
Oh, jeez.
And that's what got me into like,
really?
Bro, I know I'm not. I pointed it out to my dad. I'm like, Dad, did you just see his eye like tweak out? Like, look, I was pointing at the TV, like, Dad, look at this. He's like, well, it must be the film or something. I'm like, yeah,
this is making everything make so much sense now,
dude. Right? The reptilians, bro. I'm telling you, but we walk among stuff that is not human, bro. But they don't like talking about it. They don't like talking about reptilians.
Jessica Jones said that reptilians use masks of crystal. What's it called?
Yes.
Liquid crystal masks
Yes.
to cover their faces, bro.
But did you know, like, yeah, even when they're being filmed, sometimes it malfunctions too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, bro.
I've seen those videos.
They use a lot of energy to keep that mask up, dude. But eventually, it's gonna drop, and all of our politicians and celebrities are gonna be like reptilians, bro. I swear.
Oh, just like the Simpsons.
Yeah, bro.
The Simpsons,
yes, just like the Simpsons. Yeah,
I was about to say that.
I'm gonna call it right now. I don't care if y'all make fun of me, dude. So.
The Simpsons already called it, Taylor.
Hit it, Jess.
All right. My first red pill, actual pill, I really had to think about that for a second, because I'm like, like agreed with Stevie, and he said 9/11's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, what was my really actual first like awakening? And it was an awakening to a falsehood. It was a red pill. My grandmother had died, and I went back to New York to go to her funeral. And actually, I went back there before she died, but I went, and it's funny because it's like I wasn't really religious at all, and I prayed for her like hours before she died, and I never did that. And I spent the night. I slept in her room that night after her. Okay, this was after her funeral is when I spent the night in her room, and I was at my grandpa's house. They raised me a lot of my childhood. And so it was a kind of a more of a normal thing. I slept in there as a child, and I slept in my grandmother's room, and I had a girlfriend I was texting, and I found out she was with somebody else, and the guy was like talking shit to me, and then I had just hung up the phone, and I just started doing push-ups in my grandma's room, and I fell down to the ground. I was just doing push-ups till my face hit the ground. I was just broken, and I said, Jesus, I was like, Jesus, please. I want to know if you're real. Just please show me yourself. And then I had a hand touch my back, and my whole body like vibrated with warmth, and my hairs were all standing up, and I was just like, whoa. Okay. All right. And I had a smile on my face. I had tears running down my eyes, and I had a smile on my face, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to change my ways. This is what I said before I asked for Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, please, I'm just going to do whatever I got to do because I'm ready to end it. And then I started looking into everything. I started looking into like, I went down the esoteric route, of course, like, right. Everybody goes down that route, most people. Mm-hmm. So I started going down. I remember looking up, it's called Spirit Science on YouTube. And they still do videos to this day, but it's like a little cartoon, and like it's a human history cartoon. And, you know, I'm sure there might be some factual truth to it, but I went down the esoteric route, and I at the same time, I was like opening the Bible, like, okay, I just asked for Jesus, and I feel like something, it wasn't my grandma. People try to tell me, oh, it's your grandma. No, that was a man's hand. Mm-hmm. Like I felt it. And it stayed on my back, by the way, for months. But anyways, that's my red pill. I went down a hole, and I bounced in and out of you know, esoteric stuff and Gnosticism and all sorts of other stuff. And then Stevie came to Vegas to visit his cousin, and he hit me up. I hadn't seen him in 12 years, and we grew up together. And then he kind of just like reeled me in, like slowly, you know. And now I'm here.
Bring me the book.
Yeah.
Yo,
he was loving it. He was eating.
Thank you so much, guys, for being on the show. And I hate rushing out, but I have another episode in the next 10 minutes, and I have to let you guys know. You guys are killing it out there. I am proud and humbled and honored that you guys were able to be on the show today. All four of you got to tell me a little bit about you. We kicked ass and talking about the simulation and about the mark of the beast. It was powerful, bro. And I also want to suggest that everybody checks out their YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and comment and engage. Please, today. You don't even have to check mine out. Check them out, because at the end of the day, these guys are putting a lot of work, and they deserve all the power. Yo, make sure you let them know one more time where they can find you. Stefan, let them know.
Yeah. So you can check us out on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, X, and also on audio platforms, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Under The Biblical Hitman, you'll find us there. You'll see a guy with tattoos on his face on the emblem, and
Very aggressive, by the way.
It's really good stuff. I hear that our symbol kind of gives like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibe, which is cool because we're taking things out in that way. So let's go.
Biblical Hitman.
Make sure you check them out.
Thank
Ladies
you,
and gentlemen, boys and girls, do not forget to drop a 5-star Apple podcast. And guys, check on your men. Check on your boyfriends. Check on your boys out there. Guys, if you guys have been contemplating or entertaining the idea of suicide, reach out. Sometimes all you got to do is speak and belong. And that's the thing about guys. We're afraid of speaking, sharing our emotions. But at the end of the day, we just want to belong. All right, guys. Revered, respected, loved, and belong. If you guys want to speak with anybody, check out ParanoidRadio.com. You don't have to subscribe, like, or listen. There's a 24/7 live button on ParanoidRadio.com, and you can talk to someone 24/7. Or also, you could check us out on Instagram, and my number's associated directly. Talk to me, and I will make time for you. Guys, I want to thank you again for being on the show today. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace.